I don't think most people can grasp the gravitas behind branding. Not because they're idiotic, but because it is in the nature of branding to go almost unnoticed in our daily lives. It is the job of a brand to be more prominent than the actual product. It's the status quo, the state of affairs, the natural state of humankind. It's more than just blueprints for advertising. In an article written by author Douglas B. Holt, he describes brands as cultural artifacts that, if done correctly, circulate through the years and permeate mainstream culture. Good branding becomes unforgettable. So imagine this.
My diamond earring came off in the ocean and it's gone. And there's people that are dying.
And this. Yeah, that about sums it up. So before going into anything else, I have to discuss the concept of branding and how that relates to capitalism. When we think of brands, we usually look at the aesthetics that surround the product. How it's packaged, how it's presented, what the logo looks like, or how the website operates and works. Take for example Apple. You associate it with the Helvetica ultra-light font, the white backgrounds, the modern and minimalistic aesthetic of graphics and websites, so on and so forth. Those things are part of a brand, but not its totality. On a deeper societal level, branding is also about how much cultural capital a product or company monopolizes for themselves. So while Apple is also about aesthetic, it's very much about the attached prestige that the brand has garnered during their decade-long run. Without a history, there is no social relevance. As Douglas Holt says, a brand culture is formed. And because we live in a capitalist society, brands are made for the purpose of profit and capital. The more a brand is talked about, the more effective their marketing and sales strategy is, and what happens in theory is that more people become loyal to the product. This is what you call brand recognition and brand loyalty. This is why we associate hot pink with Barbie and lip fillers with the Kardashians. Now you may be asking, why is a film and media online critic with little to no credentials in business and marketing suddenly tackling the nuances of brand and brand culture? Well, that's because the concept of the brand can be applied to major media personalities and can be established and reinforced through multiple mediums. I understand that I already bombarded you with many concepts in that small paragraph, but for now, let's remember this. The principles behind big brands like Nike is the same as the principles behind the Kardashians, and I want to compare that with Barbie. Okay, you know what? Let's begin with something simpler. The idea that people can be brands. There's a really good article entitled Celebrities as Human Brands, an inquiry on stakeholder actor co-creation of brand identities by David Centeno and Jeff Wang. And they start their article by explaining that everything a celebrity does has the chance to influence a brand. And I quote, "Their performances on and off stage, off and online, public or private, are marketing and branding exercises. Their everyday life choices and values are intrinsically private, but performed in public. These actions create brands and branding identities. In essence, self-branding is a way of self-objectification, wherein one looks at all aspects of the self with the intention of marketing or selling. The self-branders and human brands are willing to blur the line between the public and private forces for the sake of consumption and rewards. This is what Marx calls commodification. And the reason I bring this up is because the Kardashians, one of the two major foci of this video essay, are incredibly good at making private choices that affect their public image in order to run their established business. They are the masters of the art of self-branding, and they do it seamlessly through small everyday choices that, in one way or another, become almost inescapable to human beings on their phones. They have mastered the art of parasocialism through keeping up with the Kardashians and their social media. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is one of the first shows people think of when it comes to American reality television. It first aired on October 2007 to abysmal critical reviews. but managed to draw enough audience attention to stay on television for over 12 years. The show, which was originally made to be a long-running commercial for Kim's now out-of-business boutique Dash, evolved into cultural relevance when this one thing began to happen. The Kardashians realized and weaponized the fact that their audience members were latching onto the characters and forming parasocial relationships with them. Parasocialism is another media theory that refers to a quasi and one-sided relationship formed between fans and idols. I would bet my whole soul that Kurske was aware of the number of fan to Kardashian parasocial relationships that existed and manipulated it further by letting people into their quote-unquote unscripted and unfiltered life through TV show testimonials and social media, thereby blurring the lines of the private and the public and inevitably doing extremely well with their self-branding. There is a reason that of the top 10 most followed influencers of 2019, 3 of them are Kardashians, with Kylie Jenner being second most followed next to Cristiano Ronaldo. Kendall follows closely as the 5th most followed, then Kim K at 7. They act as if how they talk to the camera is how they talk to us if we were physically present in their room, thereby drawing attention and stealthily advertising themselves as brands and themselves as human products. And I think this is a good time to bring it back to what I really wanted to talk about from the start. Barbie. Let's first start with Barbie as a product, ran by Mattel, a toy corporation. The thing with Barbie is that it's what you would call a legacy brand, a historical brand that has withstood the test of time and trend. Barbie started in 1959 and continued to evolve with technology and time. Mattel is one of the first toy companies who actually invested in television advertisements. You know, those 30-second hotspots in between shows and cliffhangers. And when Mattel realized that conventional advertising wasn't going to cut it, they decided to rebrand and reinvent Barbie into what I guess a modern-day woman perceived as strong. And this introduces Barbie to the 21st century. A Barbie that embraces her careers and dreams, and a Barbie with a strong personality and drive that overshadows her traditional femininity. It started when Barbie went from plastic doll to straight-to-DVD darling with movies like Barbie and the Nutcracker, Barbie Rapunzel, and Barbie the Princess and the Pauper. These movies were specifically made to introduce a new line of Barbie princess dolls that is similar to the Disney princess dolls. And then we have the Meta Toy Story 3 Barbie. The movie was released in 2010 and paved the way for a new era of Barbie, as Life in the Dream House will portray her 2 years later. It's funny. It makes fun of the fact that they're dolls, and they exist in a world where dolls are also pretty human in behavior. But I want to focus on the way Barbie dominated the digital world through her online shows, Life in the Dream House, and now, Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures and the Barbie Vlogs. And this is where it gets kind of tricky, because when I talk about Barbie from here on out, it becomes less about the toy and more about the personality. Those shows, along with a couple of other Barbie shows that targeted preschoolers and are outside the scope of my research, was able to give a storyline and personality to Barbie and friends in a way print media couldn't. Life in the Dream House and Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures gave us a look into the gang's life, their stresses, their quarrels, and fun moments, and in fact, followed the American reality TV format that was popularized by the Kardashians. So, let's begin with Life in the Dream House, the keeping up with the Kardashian-esque online show of Barbie, which first aired on May 11, 2012. Here, they go on full meta. Barbies are still dolls, but they're also very much alive and kicking. They talk to us through confessionals and let us into their minds. In a way, they're forming a parasocial relationship despite not being human beings. I watched the show. I let my best friends watch the show. I let my boyfriend watch the show. And they all somehow became invested in the cast, despite not having any prior knowledge about the actual dolls. However, that show ended in 2015 and gave way to a new era of branding, the child-friendly Barbie Vlogs and the Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures. Here, the producers forgo the idea that Barbie is a toy person and instead begin to treat Barbie and the gang as regular people. At times, they even try to make it seem like Barbie is human. There are several vlogs where Barbie interviews actual human beings, actual influencers, actual girls. The fact that Barbie can exist in the same space as any other human and converse with them like any other friend is just another way of branding Barbie as a real human girl. I see what's happening as reverse commodification and manufactured self-branding. I mean, obviously Mattel is still producing the videos, and it is still a capitalist business and they want to sell Barbie dolls. But instead of a human being perceived as a product like the Kardashians are, Barbie is a product that is being treated like a human brand. Mattel even admits this themselves. In an April 2019 article entitled, "What Brands Can Learn from Barbie's Social Video Success" by Linda Frund from Tubular Insights, she interviews Isaac Quiroga, Mattel's Director of Video Engagement. There he admits that the Barbie TV shows and vlogs exist for long-term brand awareness. And I quote, "For Barbie's animation properties like Life in the Dream House and Barbie's Spy Squad exclusive, such content contributes to our long-term sales because it's truly building brand affinity and giving more of a voice and a storyline and building up characters. These online videos and vlogs are basically commercials made to sell the toys, just as any Barbie medium is. Just as how Keeping Up with the Kardashians started as a commercial for Dash. And I guess that's not really a total surprise, seeing as how capitalism is always profit and business oriented, and that does not change with media networks and conglomerations. But it's just interesting seeing how marketing has evolved through technology over the years. So, this video essay is not meant to praise the Kardashians or Mattel in any way, but it does seek to explain the general shift in advertising and marketing. And with the growing unrest against an exploitative system, I think it's important to understand these trends in order to criticize it. Because even quote-unquote woke people fall for Kardashian drama and may even actively seek it out. With us being more critical of advertising methods, companies and ad agencies continuously try to find ways to sell products without saying that they're, well, selling products. They bank on the cultural capital of their brands and even human brands, and they even prey on our emotions and empathy to others, well, to manipulate us into buying products. One of the greatest observations that I gained from studying both Barbie and the Kardashians is that the line between the products and the people no longer exists. Whereas before, there may have been a present, albeit somewhat blurred line, now it seems like that both roles are interchangeable and unified. Everything can be sold nowadays. Everything is sold nowadays. And all I feel now is a sense of morbid curiosity as to how media, Barbie, and the Kardashians will evolve from here on out.
Paste!
Hi guys! Thanks so much for watching this video on Barbie. I know it's kind of a different one, but I'm glad you guys stick around if you did stick around. Anyway, I've been getting a lot of comments on my Ratatouille video, and I personally am appreciative of everything that I've been getting, but just I want to address one thing. A lot of you have been saying that my diction and how I talk and pronounce things can be kind of difficult to understand, and that can be because of two things. Number one, I only have a beginner level mic, and number two, I have locked jaw, so sometimes I stutter whenever I read something extremely long. Otherwise, I am working on it. I think my Barbie video is better than my last few, so hopefully, if you guys like how I read out my script, just tell me in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the notification bell to make sure that all notifications are on so you never miss any of my videos. Hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!